The book, to me, was not my first success. My first success was I was at that particular time I was directing the San Diego Interfaith Gospel Choir, which was a group of people from churches in all denominations who actually became internationally renowned. Now, you might not think that the skills that I learned at the Urban League tie into that, but actually it did, and it literally pushed us into international fame. I remember preparing press releases, and to this day, I do this. To this day, I mean the press releases that I send out to this day, even though I have a staff, even though I have a business manager, I exceed them and sending out information because I've learned those skills in the Urban League. I use them for the San Diego Interfaith Gospel Choir, and I remember the editor of the paper telling me, I have never in the history of my being at this paper ever seen such a professional press release packet. And I did that then. It got us in numerous magazines and newspapers. Today, my book, which is called Love Won't Let Me Be Silent, is a self-published book that should not be on the level of a book that is perhaps put out by Random House or some major distributor like that. But because it's the same skills that I learned at the Urban League, I learned how to promote my book. Now I'm in every magazine you can pick up, and if I'm not in it, I'm going to be soon. I have been taped for television more times than I can count. So the communication skills that the Urban League taught me, both to be able to communicate verbally, how to present myself, because see, during the Urban League training, they taught you interviews, how to go to an interview, and those skills helped me when I'm going to New York soon for many tapings and many interviews in magazines. And the skills that I remember they would literally tape us on video for interviews. And those skills help me today. I feel very comfortable in front of cameras, very comfortable talking to people, and all of those skills I gained at the Urban League. And it has advanced me musically. It has certainly advanced me in a literary sense, because now my book is selling hundreds of thousands, not only in this country, but also in Europe. Love Won't Let Me Be Silent was inspired by a couple of things. One is, when I was growing up and I was 17, there is a book. This comes out every year. It's called A Man's Body. I recommend that you get it. Now, this is more of a health book that's put out yearly, and in it talks about all the things that have to do with your body. It gets into relationship things. This comes out every year. And actually, a pastor at my church gave it to me. And I'm bringing that up because Love Won't Let Me Be Silent is that type of a book, in the sense that even though it's not addressing those issues, it's addressing all of the issues that same-gender loving people of color deal with. And it is kind of that type of a manual. And I tell you, had I had this book when I was 21, 22, 17, 30, I would have, the inner conflict that I had as a person of color who is the same gender loving people, all of those things which causes teens to self-destruct, to commit suicide, because of course they're living a lifestyle that is not, quote unquote, the norm. Those are the things that inspired me to write this book. Proposition 8, which of course is still not resolved and is still before the California Supreme Court, is something I mentioned in this book that has severely disturbed me, as it did everyone else I know, that was overturned. But I can tell you emphatically that it will not remain so, and that it will be reversed. Those things inspired me to write the book. Now, I think the most misunderstood thing about my book is that it was written for same-gender loving people. It's actually written for parents of same-gender loving people. It's written for anyone who knows them. The African American community has some real issues in this area, and those issues are not being they're addressed. Hence, we have a spinoff of a pandemic, HIV/AIDS, and it's directly related to the fact that we won't talk about the fact that there are millions, not thousands, millions of African American young men and young women who are same-gender loving people. Because this is not being addressed, it is giving wings to the epidemic. It is causing people to live secreted closet lifestyles, which again fuel the epidemic. So it's this that I believe is probably the reason for the popularity of the book, because it brings this subject out into the open. It helps parents to understand their child. It helps that teenager, that young adult, and even older adults to know who they are, to accept who they are, and to not have to live a double life.